247 Sports, an article put out by Brandon Marcello 6 hours ago. Recruiting history shows it is national title or bust for Texas A&M. Is this another dream season for an SEC team? Maybe. Now, this is true. And what it's saying, it's not saying the number one team is always, like in recruiting, has always won the title, which clearly has not been the case. I mean, Alabama just signed the best class ever, and guess who won the title? Georgia. Well, they recruit well enough. They signed one number one class back in 2017 or whatever it was. But is this a dream season for the Aggies? Texas A&M, right? Reading this, the wave of momentum started 4 years ago as Jimbo Fisher began building his first complete signing class as the Aggies coach. No class since 2019 has fallen outside the top 10, and Wednesday, the Aggies made history with the top recruiting class in college football history. But, and like I said too, on the stream last night, was that what makes it so crazy is the fact that we're a year removed from Alabama having the best class in history. Like, it was like a generational type of class. The offensive tackles and everything they brought in. Signee Dayon Bowie said in January, he was interviewed. He was signed, I think, back in December. He said, "We've got to win an Natty. We're built something nobody has did. No number one class in history. We've got natty materials." He talks that way. Okay. That's not just an assumed expectation in College Station. That's history whispering in the Aggies' ear too. And quite honestly, let me just cut to the chase. What's up, Sam? How you doing? Let me cut to the chase here and say that they have to win a title with this talent. Let's double check. And again, I know we looked at it yesterday, but I'm going to pull it up anyway. Let's look at what they brought in, right? And again, they're going to be freshmen this upcoming 2022 season, but they're still talented. And at least after the first year, then they'd probably be on that level. They got to win a title with this class at some point. You brought in the number 2 wide receiver, the number 4 defensive back, the number 2 quarterback in Connor Wegman. I'm excited to see him. Denver Harris, I've seen his highlights. He is 6 in the state of Texas. He's number 4 in corners. They got the number 1 player in the state of Arizona. They got so much, man. Seriously. They got 16 players out of Texas. They got 3 out of Georgia. They got a Pennsylvania kid. They got an Arizona kid, 2 out of Washington, 2 out of Louisiana, 2 out of Florida, 1 out of Tennessee. They went almost all over the map. Well, not almost all over the map. I mean, there's 50 states, and they went through maybe 10 of them. It went over a fifth. I don't know. Bobby Taylor, a 4-star corner. Walter Nolan, the number 1 defensive tackle. Shamar Stewart, the number 1 player in the state of Florida, the number 3 tackle. They got the number 2 safety. They got the number 4 edge. They got the number 3 receiver, and Chris Marshall. I think we looked at him one day. I like him. Le'Veon Moss, who was offered by so many, a 4-star. He's the number 5 running back. He's from Baton Rouge. I think Alabama tried to pick him up at one point. It didn't get him, obviously. So much. And they also, not to mention, I don't even think he's going to start, Max Johnson. Max Johnson's in from LSU. Out of the transfer. But anyways, it doesn't have to be this year. It might be this year, though. Could you imagine And not only that, they bring a lot back too. A&M does. They bring a lot back, and now they bring in new 4 and 5 star generational talent freshmen. Right? If you had told me that this was going to happen in a few years with A&M and Jimbo, I would have called you high, doped out, crazy. There's no way that's going to happen. Well, it has. They got the number 1 class and the best class in history, right? They stole it from Alabama too, by the way. Nobody does that. Nobody steals from Alabama. I mean, how crazy is it getting in college football to now we're having, like when it started with LSU and it was that dream season, that was one of those, like, it happens once in a blue moon. Then you have Georgia's dream season this past year. Alabama we're used to seeing on the national stage. LSU and Georgia, not so much. Alabama of 2020, it was still at least like it was finally like they didn't lose a game to have to win a title. But is A&M next? Are they next for their dream season? Are the pieces going to fit together? Are they going to go out and fight and compete and play as hard as they can? And like, is it just set up that way? And again, I think I've already done a preview video for their schedule, but we got to double check real quick. They didn't even finish in the postseason AP poll. They finished in the coaches poll at 25. But their schedule it's not an easy one. You start out with Sam Houston, which is good, at least where they play. I think they're going to win that. App State, Miami, Arkansas, at Mississippi State, at Alabama, at South Carolina. There's some games in there they could slip up. It's insane. Not only that, let's not forget 1, 2, and 3 in the classes in signing day were all SEC. I think it was A&M, Bama, and then Georgia actually got a top 5 class. Wow. Well, then again, they won the title, so I mean that's what's going to happen. But so the top 3 are SEC. Then you don't see any SEC till number 12 with LSU, which Brian Kelly's done pretty good. So far, so good. So who won signing day? Who lost it? And again, I mentioned this might be a dream season set up for A&M. They might have all the pieces together. The stars might align. They might get off to that slow start. And it might not be like Georgia was not undefeated this past year. But they were still talked about. Look out for them. Talk about them in the offseason. Now it's kind of that way for A&M. Are they set up for a national title run? It's a good possibility, but we'll just have to wait and see. I'm not going to count on it, but I'm not going to rule it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to sit here and hype them up because I still think, and I agree with my man Jeff Webster on here when he says 22, 23, 24 is when you got to worry about Alabama because of everything they bring in, the experience, Nick Saban, Bryce Young, which, he won the Heisman. You just never know. We said that 2021 was the year to get Bama because that's when they were down. And I'm actually very surprised that they even made the national title. They didn't have the quarterback. They didn't have that team, at least going in. Like, I didn't know Bryce was going to be that good. Not at all. I'm shocked. But getting back to A&M real quick, it's their year this upcoming season. It might be. I'm not going to call it, but it seems like it. It's their off season. for sure. Like this offseason, we'll look at it as say, well, they got the number one recruit, the number one class. You know, and I mean, man, it's insane. I don't know how they did it. I don't know what it took, but I know that they did do that. And you might want to watch out for what the Aggies have up their sleeve this upcoming season in college football.